Hey everybody, welcome to the start of my first online tutorial for how to rig a simple rig in Toon Boom Harmony. I've been talking about doing this for a while now, and now is the time to do it. So basically what we're going to do today is build a character from what you can see here, the very early sketch version, all the way through to where you have a pretty simple rig, a pretty animatable rig that's going to use a bunch of the different features that Harmony 12 offers. This isn't going to be kind of a Julia Child cooking show setup where I have things pre-made for you. This is literally going to be, I'm going to start from this sketch and I'm going to go all the way through. I will try my best wherever I host this to do time markers so that if you want to skip ahead, you know this stuff, you want to get to other specific areas, we'll be able to do that. But for the most part, these videos will be literally step by step by step by step. Okay? So, as you can see, we have this little let's call him a goat dude that we're gonna rig up here in my stage, right? And up in our library section to the right, in the upper right, we have our tool properties. We've got the library. I've got my node library open. I got my node view open, and depending on what I can just hit this little plus sign and get extra windows, and down below I have both my color and my timeline. So a couple things before we start. If you've never rigged before, you are going to want to, where are you? Harmony Premium File. Edit. Yep, that's the window we want. One more time. We're going to go Harmony Preferences, okay? And you can see you have your shortcuts, you have your general. For what we need, we're going to go all the way down to Advanced, and you're going to want to make sure that Support, Overlay, and Underlay Arts layer is on. And you're going to want to make sure that the element node Animate Using Animation Tools default value is switched off. What this means is that if you create a drawing asset on a layer, that you won't be able to animate that drawing asset directly. You're going to need to hook it up to a peg. What that creates is a way for us to have a drawing asset that isn't animatable, and that becomes really handy to make sure that you're not animating something both on a peg layer and on the drawing layer, and the two can get confused very easily. So you're going to, again, want to make sure Support, Overlay, and Underlay Arts is turned on, and element node Animate Using Animation Tools default is switched off. Okay, now let's start rocking and rolling. What we're going to want to do is take a moment and break this guy up into parts using our layers in our timeline view. This is going to take me a moment, and I'm going to talk, so this is one of those areas that you might want to skip ahead. So we're going to start by creating a bunch of layers. I like to start going by what will be at the bottom of the hierarchy up to the top, and there might need to be some rearranging later. So we're going to start with N foot. I do N and F for near and far. It's just a habit I picked up at Nevera, meaning that the near foot we rotate from stage right to stage left to stage right. So that would be what, audience right to. Screwing that up. Basically, this side is my near side. This side is my far side. So yeah. So I guess his left towards his right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit N foot add. That adds it. One of the new features that I really like is that this box doesn't disappear, so that I can just keep adding. So N foot, I'm going to need N lower leg, N upper leg. Okay, crotch, patch, hips. Oh, not hypes. Okay, so I can close and I can quickly edit that up and go back to adding new layers. Naming convention, listen, it's up to you. It's up to you. Does it need to be NF? No. RL? No. 1, 2, maybe, sure, whatever. Whatever works for you, whatever works for your pipeline, whatever makes logical sense for you guys, that's what you should be doing. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do N hand, N lower hand. No, lower arm. Yeah, this is not scripted, guys. Not scripted, okay? So don't hold me to me saying stupid stuff, okay? Shoulder patch. That should be end shoulder patch. And now we're going to do torso. We'll do shirt lining. That's something I'm going to show you guys how to do later. Then we'll also do neckline. Okay. Now we don't have to do the other half of this. Basically, we're going to rig up half of this guy's body and then duplicate it, make a special copy, and send it to the other side. There we go. Okay, so in that, we're going to start moving on to the head. And we'll do head, mouth, nose, and eye. We're going to break that eye into little tiny bits. So we'll do pupil. And I'm going to do N, highlight 1, highlight 2, and we'll do N, eyebrow. Okay, and we'll do N, ear. We'll do N, horn. We'll do BCK for back hair. Not back hair, but back hair of his head. And then we'll do one that will be, let's see, we'll do one that's going to be FNT hair line. Not so bad, okay, right? I mean, that's not terrible. And in terms of layers, it's going to grow, but, you know, not a bad start. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a moment to look at our network view, okay? Or, I'm sorry, node view is the new terminology in 12. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to hit this Order Node View Up button, which is third from my left in my node view. And I'm just going to hit OK, and voila, I get this little pyramid. But I don't really want to end my pyramid here just yet, okay? What I want to do is I'm going to pull my composite down, get that out of the way, and I'm going to start organizing my different drawing assets. And you can see that as I select them, they correspond to what's going on in my timeline. I'm going to grab these layers, and I'm going to start putting them side by side. Now, the reason why I'm going to do this is sometimes you will see a network that looks like a bowl of spaghetti. Just every different kind of node, every different kind of peg or filter, whatever. It's just everywhere. I mean, it's just everywhere. And it makes it really impossible to understand what's cutting what's related to what's on which composite. So this is a way to organize yourself up. And I like starting it pretty much as soon as I've begun a rig, because you're just going to have so many different things going on in this node view that if you don't start tackling it at an early stage, it becomes kind of a pain in the ass. So we're going to just take another minute or two here, second or two. It's okay, guys. Calm down, calm down. We'll get to rigging in a moment. Okay, so we're going. And what I'm going to do here, once I get down to my drawing and my color card is I'm going to show you guys a little something about composites. Basically what we have here is this is the composite for the entire project. And if I click on this button, you can see on the little button to the left, right, that guy right there, you can see that this says as bitmap. And basically it takes all of the information, all these different nodes, and it compresses them down into one flat bitmap. That's great for the final output, but it's not great for rigging. So what we're going to do is we're going to, we're not going to adjust this one. This one's going to stay as is, but we're just going to command copy, command paste a new composite. If I click on that, you can see that it's still as bitmap under mode in my layers property. Again, that's layer property, mode, as bitmap. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and I'm going to hit pass through. Okay. And what you're going to notice in comparison of the two, it is no longer a dark blue rectangle, but I think trapezoid is the wrong word, descriptive word, but it's kind of like this flattened pyramid, showing you how lacking my geometry skills are. But it's now light blue in this kind of flattened pyramid shape, right? And that means it's a pass-through. And it basically means that this information, if I connect my node here, it disappears in my stage view, but as soon as I reconnect it, boop, there it is. Okay, and I like to use these mostly as an organizational tool, and it allows me to keep from getting a node situation like this, where just dozens of different node strands are headed into the same composite. So we're going to be using this type of composite to pass through quite a bit, so I wanted to show it to you guys kind of early. Okay, now let's go and we're going to start creating the artwork. And I'm going to use this opportunity in creating the artwork to kind of work us through the Harmony interface a little bit, right? And how do I approach creating artwork, okay? Now, this is something a lot of you are probably familiar with if you're already set to begin rigging. But for the new guy, the new guy, I think it's a good opportunity to start learning. Okay, so I'm going to start with my foot. And actually how I'm going to do this is I'm going to treat my foot as the entire leg piece and break it up from there. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head down to the very bottom left-hand corner of my stage. And you're going to see a light bulb. And you're going to see a little blue diamond with two blue stripes underneath it. This is current drawing on top. So that will become important later. And as you can see, the light box ability pushes this drawing back, which can be very, very, very helpful as we begin rigging. So for this guy, you can do colorized line, and that's great. It's awesome. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to do a nice traditional, black outline. So I've switched over to my tool properties, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to my uniform thickness stencil, right? And I normally like backing this guy down to like a 5. You can add a new pencil as your preset by hitting this little button doodad right here, this little pencil, hit OK, and that's going to say pencil 4. We're going to want to change that to 5. And, well, I did something wrong there, but that's okay. Anyways, we're going to go down here. We're going to hit 5, and that's going to be our pencil stroke, right? Nice, good. Now, it is a uniform pencil stroke, okay? Meaning it has the same thickness throughout. Obviously, you can get a couple of these other strokes, and they do more stylized things, okay? Now, for rigging purposes, I like using the uniform pencil stroke simply because I know I'm not going to, as I try to move things, I'm not going to suddenly get an area that's thinner or thicker than another. It's at this stage, it's just, I find the easiest way to go about it. Anyways, back to the foot. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to design his entire near leg on the one layer. And to do that, I'm going to grab my ellipse tool, right, under my basic shapes and begin shaping out his leg. Okay. And then I'm going to grab, let's say, my line tool, and I'm going to make his pant leg. And it's okay to be, not get this perfect, as you can see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up to my tool properties, and second to the left is the snap to contour. And what this is going to do is I zoom in here, okay, you can see this little white square, right, is highlighted. That means it's active for me. And I'm going to pull it, and it's going to snap to the contour. It's kind of tough to see, but you'll notice a natural pause in the cursor. And what that does is it makes sure that shape is nice and closed. There, nice. Okay, and then I'm going to take my contour editing tool, which is second from the top. It's this little white arrow, and if I hold it down, you can see I have a whole plethora of different options here. What I need right now is my contour editor, and I'm going to pull that guy down into place. Okay, so I got a pretty cool little pant leg going on, and let's see. I'm gonna want another ellipse for his lower leg. Nice. And then let's design this shoe here. Maybe we'll use the pencil. Could also easily use the polyline tool, which is a cool tool. That's in the same place where you would find your ellipse or your straight line or your rectangle tool right here. You can see polyline. I'm just going to do a really simple shoe. I'm not going to go crazy with this guy's shoe today. He's just probably going to have, I don't know, some loafers or something on. Okay, so there we go. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch from my contour editor over to my selection tool. And if I select this, here's a cool little trick. I can hit B and hold it for a moment. And I'm going to hover over the center point of this circle. And I'm going to make a little dot, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing for this guy. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hold B. It's the shortcut for my brush. And I'm going to make a little dot. Why that's important is it's going to help me set my pivot point a little bit later. Okay. So I'm going to select this bad boy. And I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to my timeline. I'm going to go to my timeline, and instead of just, selecting the layer, I actually am going to select the very frame itself within my timeline, and I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to do that same thing for the upper leg. Okay, that's why I did this all on one layer. Interesting. It looks like this circle's a little too small, so I'm going to undo, go back to my foot, and I'm going to select this guy, I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to nudge his size up a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more over here too. Okay. Same thing, Command paste, and now I have it on all of my layers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to break it down so that I have my upper leg shape. Okay, basically I want to create an uninterrupted geometry for his upper leg. So I'm going to get rid of everything that isn't the outer contour line of his upper leg. Now this is cool. See, you remember when we hit this little blue diamond, current drawing on top? Even though I copied and pasted everything, it's grayed out, allowing me just to see the upper leg. That's kind of what I was mentioning earlier. So now I'm going to take my contour tool and my snap to contour, and I'm going to pull this up to make that nice, clean, closed shape. Oh, I think I could probably just delete. Yeah, look at that. I just deleted that little blip, and we're good there. And we're good there. And I'm going to look all the way around and make sure I don't have any breaks in my line or anything. I don't think I do. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, there's my upper leg. Look at that. Now I'm going to start creating the lower leg, right, which is going to be this area. So I can get rid of that circle entirely. I can get rid of the shoe entirely. And I can start cutting into this guy. So just like the contour tool had a bunch of different options, so does the selection tool. And one of the most important ones is going to be your cutter tool. Very, very helpful. And I'm going to select this, let go, makes a nice clean cut. Select this area, let go, nice clean cut. Grab my contour editor. I'm going to pull this bad boy into place. Let's zoom in and make sure it's really nice and ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that. That's the stuff right there. That's the good stuff. Okay, here we go. Nice and closed. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I want to get rid of this inner part. I just want the outer contour. Okay, that tells when I can see this cut going all the way around, it can tell me that this line isn't interrupting enough yet. So I'm really going to want to pop that on there. Yeah, there we go. That's even better. Okay. See, now it doesn't go up. That green highlight doesn't go up, and I can delete. Ooh, look at that. Nice and clean all the way around. I'm digging it. Okay, so now we have that. We're going to create a crotch patch right here, real simple. I'm just going to take a nice straight line. How you design this, right? How you design the crotch area has a lot to do with the general design of the character. So this particular area can be different depending on your character design. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. And yeah. So that's going to be my hips. Just below the bottom line here, I'm going to create a crotch patch, and you'll see where that becomes useful later on. Oh, let me go back, because I just used a feature I haven't shown you guys yet. Okay, what I did was I did my contour editor, and I pulled that into place. Cool, but what if at this stage what I don't really want is this, kind of even all the way across banal line. No good. What I want is I'm going to grab my pencil editor, which is right underneath my contour editor, and I'm going to click on the line. And now you can see I have a slightly different view than anything I've seen before. What I can do is I can easily just drag these different lines to get various levels of thick to thin. Okay. I can grab this portion, I can grab this guy, or I can add a little bit of thick to thin by pulling out the ends. There are a lot of different ways to edit up your pencil line. One thing that I will note is, so if you want to make a drastic change It's normally better just to grab a pencil kind of that size and make a stroke that size and do a small pencil editor change than try to have a little line and do a big change. But all I really want to do is add a little bit of thick to thin. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. The other thing you can do is you can hit Command click and add another set of nodes in, control points, if that's what you need to do. Okay, moving on. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before with the arm area, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself 2 circles to begin with. I really enjoy rigging up the arm, mostly because it's like, it's pretty much the basis of all the things. The simple arm rig is pretty much the basis of like everything else, especially once we get into the node view and adding things like cutters and auto patches and all this fun stuff. You're going to start noticing that like almost pretty much everything else is just a repetition of the basic stuff. The first stage stuff is just a repetition of what we're going to kind of do once we get ready to rig up this arm. So that's actually, once we get to the rigging portion of it, that's actually where we're probably going to begin with the rigging. I'm going to do a very, very, very simple sleeve for this guy. There are a lot of ways that we could be doing a more interesting sleeve, but you know, this guy's kind of got that very simple design to him, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And then I'm going to design this hand. When I'm designing hands and they're coming out of an arm, right? 1 second. You really want to try to respect the circle that's already there. The reason being that as this hand rotates, if you come out like this or you make the hand come out like that, it's going to make for a very awkward wrist shape. Oof. That's one ugly hand. Okay, let's make sure this is connected. Okay, so I'm going to snap the contour, and just for good measure, let's really get in there. Yeah, that's no good. Clean that up a little bit. And then you can see it's minute, but it's a good time to show you. There is this break in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pencil editor. You can see in my tool properties there's a start and end, and you can see that this, because I cut it, is now flat. I'm going to switch that to round, and that little bit of overlay is going to give me a nice clean line all the way through. Okay, not my favorite hand that I've ever made, but for the purposes of what we're doing, We will move on. I'm just going to quickly switch up my pencil. And I'm going to add those pivot point reminders. Not the most exhilarating portion of the tutorial, I know. It is June 7th, which means if you're living here in California, it's primary day, so go vote. And you know, if you're watching this past the time of the primaries, well, you're either looking at this fondly or negatively. So, I'll probably cut that part. It wasn't the funniest joke I've ever made. It wasn't even really a joke. I'm just kind of talking as I think about what to do next. Oh, right. That's what I'm going to do next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this guy, and just like I did with the leg, I'm pasting it, and I'm pasting it, and just like I did with the leg. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create the outer contour of the shape that I need. So I don't need that. I don't need that. Do I need that? Nope. Do I need that? Nope. Do I need that? Nope. Don't need that. Do need some of that. Okay, so I think I probably needed some of that too. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. I said I didn't need it, and I did. Let me off the hook, all right? I've made like one mistake this whole tutorial. Everything else has been flawless up to now. Flawless. I think we can all agree on that, right? Yeah. Okay. Anybody walking by thinks I'm talking to myself, which in reality I am, but, you know, you're now at home watching this, so I guess that kind of counts as a conversation. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these little nibby bits and these little nibby bits. Ooh, here's a cool example of why we want to use the pencil editor. Look at that. Look at that. That's no good. That's no good. Are you sitting at home being like, oh, that looks fine to me? It doesn't. That's no good. Right here, what I'm going to do is a start with the round, end with the round. Oh, still no good. Still no good. Okay, we're going to go round. We're going to go round. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Look at that. So much cleaner, so much nicer. It's really going to make our rotation look a lot better. But it also means that I've run into a bit of a problem considering where I put the sleeve. So I have a better idea. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Keep on backing until we have this. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do this time is I'm going to delete out the sleeve. That was a dumb idea, Alex. Dumb idea to try to put the sleeve on the same layer as the upper arm. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go to my upper arm. I'm going to add the sleeve onto its own layer near, we'll call it arm. Let's do it. Upper arm sleeve. That's better. Good suggestion, guys. Appreciate the help. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a minute, but we're going to continue on with creating our now uninterrupted arm. Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need the hand. We're going to get nice and close. Bada bing. Bada boom. Okay, contour editor. And we're going to snap that to the grid. Snap to the grid. Here we go. Snap that to the grid. And we're going to grab our cutter. We're going to cut this guy. Oh, there we go with that line action again. It's going to happen a lot, guys. It's going to happen a lot. So be prepared. You want that nice, clean outer contour. Ooh, looking good. Okay, so now we're going to go to our lower arm. We're going to do the opposite of what we just did. So we're going to get the lower arm. Ba-doop, and you're gone. And we're going to get rid of this hand here. I didn't like it in the first place. Getting rid of all this action. We're getting all rid of this action. What's going on here? There we go. There we go. Okay. Getting rid of you. Getting rid of you. Getting rid of you. That's starting to look clean. Okay, we got to bring him down. So we're going to grab our contour editor. Boom. Like a ninja. Like a ninja. Every time. Boom! Look at that. Okay, wait, missed it. I saw it. I know you didn't. I caught it. Okay, no excuses. Okay, here we go. Pencil editor, and we're gonna go round and round. Boom! That's gonna be our lower arm in a minute. And now we're at our hand. Hand's really easy. I'm just gonna select all this junk out of there. Get out of there. We don't need you. We're done with you. Okay, and we're gonna cut this guy, cut that guy, cut that guy. Notice that I haven't started coloring yet or anything. We're going to get to that in a bit. It just makes it really tricky, I find, if you're trying to do color and line work at the same time. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not smart enough really for any of this, but, you know, we're here. Okay, so I'm going to line up my center point of this circle kind of to the sleeve, try to get a shape that it's going to fit nicely around the sleeve. And I'm going to create a sleeve for the outside. This is a better way to do it, guys. This is going to give us a lot more options down the road by breaking it up. Sometimes with the simple rigs, you want to do what I just did there, and it's a matter of oversimplifying. Trying to put too much information, too many different things onto one drawing asset. But in this case, we're going to be better off by putting it on its own asset. Okay, so there we go. Same thing. I'm going to find my pivot point. Bada boom. I'm going to use my cutter. Bada boom, bada boom. I got a little bit of niblet there, right? A little bit of cut in. So round and round we go, and look at that, we got a sleeve. Nice. We're gonna save at this point. We're gonna come back to the shoulder patch. This is an inelegant solution that I want to show you guys, but we'll worry about that later. Now we're really starting to cruise. I'm gonna create a line here, a line there. We're gonna kind of make another pyramid type shape. I'm gonna pull you down like that. I'm going to pull you up like that. I'm going to smooth this guy out a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are cooking with gas here, people. We are cooking with gas. We are flying through this now. Okay, we're going to connect these guys up. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so now we got the basis for his torso. Super simple. Sometimes if you have that snap to contour on and you're just trying to like adjust your Bevier handle, it can be a little pain in the assery, but that seems to work well. Same thing, shirt lining. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. Let's go with the neckline, and let's see, I'm going to do something like that, I think. I'll probably say I think quite a bit, because that's all I'm doing at this point, is I'm just thinking. Not every rig's going to be the same, depending on, different design aspects. You're going to have to think of different solutions for each of these designs, and there's normally like 2 or 3 ways that you can do something, and depending on what is needed, you're probably going to have depending on what the animation is going to need, the level of animation, that's going to determine which way you do something. Like, there are several different ways to create a kind of neckline for a character like this. I could have created like a whole under torso, and then, just like I did with the sleeve, put the shirt on top of that, torso. But I think that would be somewhat redundant, so we're not going to do that for a character of this level. Just gonna grab like a little square for his head. Not bad, not bad. Okay, there's his head. We're just gonna do there are like 10 different ways that you can do the mouth. I think for our purposes, we're just gonna do a pretty straightforward, hand drawn mouth. If you hit Command Option, you'll get your rotating tool. Boom. We're gonna go like that. I like to do another line, and we're gonna go like that. Cute. We're gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna make a little straight line there. I'm gonna make a little straight line there, maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, then I'm gonna grab my pencil editor, and I just like to pull this. I'll give him a fat little cheek. Nice fat little mouth cheek area. Let's make this a little bit cleaner. I'm getting with some buck teeth. Fun. And we will do a tongue. Okay, nose. No, I want those guys. This is what I want. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Boom. Okay, here we go with the nose. We lost our side guys, so let's hit Command, and we'll add a couple more in. I want to get this guy maybe a little bit more squared towards the base. So I'm going to hit Alt just to grab the one side. Yeah, so if I do this, for anybody who hasn't used Bevier handles before, if I hold nothing on my keyboard, I'm going to get both this guy and that guy responding when I pull just the one, and I don't really want that. What I want is just to be able to pull one side. So I'm going to hit Alt, and I'm going to hold Alt, and now you can see this other guy doesn't move around, right? I'm going to hold Alt, and whereas before both sides were getting affected, now only the one side gets affected. How cool. Okay. So now we're going to add some nostrils. If you really want to make these nice and clean, you can do something like this. Yeah, that's better. And do that, and then you can, select, copy, paste, and then up here under operations in your tool properties, side to side, we're going to flip that horizontal. We're going to pop his other nostril on right there. Look at how easy that was. Hot dog. All right. Now we're going to create his eye, okay? And we're going to take a circle, and we're going to hold Shift, and there's his eye. Look how easy that was. I often, well, we're going to make it a little bit smaller. What I like to tend to do is I'll take my pencil editor and I will add a little bit of an eyelid, just like that. Pupil. I could break that down more into iris and whatnot, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. Sometimes I'll make the inner stroke of the eye a little bit thinner. Nice. Highlight 1, I'm actually going to switch up to our white. And highlight 1 will be our big eye highlight. Go back to our timeline. Highlight 2 will be our smaller highlight. Back to color. Let's get some black going again. Ugh, that's not good. Now let's do 8. How about that? There, okay. Contour editor, I'm going to pull you into place. Maybe with my pencil editor, I'm going to maybe give a little bit more design to the stroke of the pencil. Yeah, that looks like a good eyebrow. Look at that. What comes next? We're going to create the ear, okay? Now, yes, the ear is going to get cut by the head so that this area remains open. But ideally, whenever possible, you want to try and have full geometry and use a combination of cutters to create an effect of openness where form meets form. But you want the full geometry so that as you animate that form, you can move it around and not be handcuffed to where you might have left that part of your geometry open or something. We'll get back to more of that later. Here's my pivot point. Nice and round. Maybe we'll adjust this here a little bit. Yeah, I like that a little bit better, I think. Better. What's next? The horn again. We're aiming for nice finished geometry. It makes life down the road that much easier. And it makes a certain amount of sense. Anybody who's a character designer or an animator already, they know that you're trying to build basic shapes here. And once you start thinking about these things as full-on shapes, life gets a lot easier, right? If you're thinking about how's this going to work as an entire horn shape versus, well, if I cut out a portion of it and don't worry about drawing through and understanding how it's working in the round, while if you're working on a very fast turnaround and you only have to deal with like one view, or he really only has to like jump in the sequence and you can get away with it, that totally works sometimes. But when you have a character who you're thinking about using more than once, maybe using more than one angle, thinking about characters like this and really trying to rig them to where they exist in the round. I think you're going to find that you have much more versatile characters and characters that are much more easy to, or much more easy. Wow, Alex. Are much, are more capable of being animated effectively. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Doesn't quite work, does it? Because this portion of the head isn't connected into, as I'm talking about animating in the round, let's make sure that, he's actually could have that horn there. I think that's going to be better. Maybe a little cuter too. Okay, now back hair. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to design a shape. A full-on shape. Again, trying to keep that full geometry going. That's pretty gnarly, so let's clean that up a little bit. Better. Better. Okay, we can deal with this. And then we're going to create a hairline. Notice that when I'm making my strokes, I'm never too worried about how perfect they are on the first go, because the beauty of vector will allow me to come back in and make all the adjustments that I want. So why stress about making a perfect stroke the first time? Why? There's no reason. There's no reason. Don't do it. Don't stress, man. Be cool, man. It's okay, man. Just be calm. Be calm, okay? Don't rig and be stressed. That's not the point. That's not the point. Okay, so we got something like that going. This is going to be an interesting way to do the hairline, but it'll show you a cool way to do it, and that's what's important here, bud. Cool way to do it. All right. So now we got all the line work. Somehow I got a duplicate layer, so I'm just going to delete that one out, rename this, take that one out of there, get out of there. And we're going to hit OK. And let's take the next step and start coloring this bad boy. So we're going to go, I like starting coloring with the head. What I'm going to do so that I can get through this relatively easily, I'm going to X out this color, and I'm going to add my color view. Nope, that's coordinates view. You don't need that. Add a new color. There's a little plus sign right there. Add color. And we'll call this fur multi-wheel mode. Let's do a... I don't know. Let's we'll be kind of lame. We'll do like a cream colored sheep creature. Okay, so now all this has been on my line work. All this right now has been on my line art layer. I'm going to switch down to my set color art as current layer. Right? I can toggle between the two. And I'm going to hit my select tool, and all of a sudden what becomes available to me up on my top toolbar here is create color art from line art. So I'm going to hit that, and bada bing, bada boom. I now have this blue line that wasn't there before. And what you can realize that is it is the line, this line information getting translated down to my color information. And I'm going to hit paint. Sometimes what happens on my version is it pops back to what the last color selected was. So just select fur again. And there you go. Now we're going to go to the mouth layer. There we go. We're going to need a couple colors here. Fewer. And fewer. We're going to need another color for, let's go inside mouth. I like naming my colors as often as I can, so, I don't get lost and suddenly have, 100 different colors going on and all that kind of craziness. I'm not going to worry about those teeth getting filled in just yet. We'll go teeth. Look at that. We're going to add another color, and we're going to call this tongue. And now that you guys can see how I've colored stuff, this is kind of the same process throughout the whole kit and caboodle. So I'm going to end the video here. You guys don't need to listen to more bad jokes and then see me color the same thing in every single time. There's one or two little bits coloring that is slightly different, but I'll actually talk about that in my next video. Hope you enjoyed this one, and check in for the next one because there's going to be a ton of new information. All right, talk to you soon.